She who controls her emotions controls the room. She who stays calm when others fall apart, she becomes unforgettable. There is something rare about a woman who doesn't react, when everything in her heart is shaking, but her face shows peace. When she's hurt, but doesn't beg. When he pulls away, but she doesn't chase. That woman doesn't get forgotten. That woman becomes the one he remembers when the lights are low, and silence speaks louder than words. Because men don't regret losing the loudest woman in the room. Men regret losing the one who mastered this. Emotional control. Let's be honest, you were emotional because you cared. You gave, you waited, you hoped. And he pulled back. He chose space. He chose someone else. He acted like you were replaceable, and maybe you broke down. Maybe you questioned everything. But let this be the moment you rise. Not louder, not angrier, but wiser, calmer, untouchable. Because once a woman learns how to feel everything without reacting to anything, she becomes the one he regrets losing forever. Seneca once said, "A man who is master of himself is the master of all." But what about a woman who masters herself? She becomes a storm he cannot escape, a mystery he cannot solve, a memory that stays long after she's gone. Think of fire. It can burn wildly, or it can glow steady, warm and controlled. One destroys, the other draws people in. That's the power of emotional control. You stop explaining, you stop crying, you stop proving. And suddenly, he's looking for what he thought would always be there. But now, it's gone. And it's not just gone, it's grown. Now listen. This is not about hiding your feelings. It's about leading them. You don't become cold. You become calm. You don't stop loving. You start loving wisely. Because once you hold your emotions like a crown on your head, you start living like what you were always meant to be. Dear woman, you are not broken. You are just awakening. And the moment you rise in silence, in strength, in calm power, you stop being the one who was left and become the one who will never be forgotten. And that beautiful soul is the beginning of living as a queen. If this message touched your heart, if it reminded you of the strength that's been inside you all along, then like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are pouring our hearts into every word, working hard to bring you the truth, the healing, and the power you deserve. Because you are not alone, and every single message here is built to help you rise, to help you reclaim your worth, and to remind you that you were never meant to be forgotten. You were always meant to reign. Number 1. He expected tears, not silence, and that silence is what haunts him now. Have you ever noticed how silence can be louder than screaming? He thought you would fall apart. He expected the crying, the begging, the late-night calls. He thought you'd ask him why, ask him to stay. But when you gave him nothing, no words, no tears, no explanation, something inside him shifted. Because he was prepared to handle your emotions. What he wasn't ready for was your silence. You see, a woman who learns to stay calm when her heart is breaking, a woman who chooses stillness over chaos, becomes unforgettable. That's the emotional skill he never saw coming. He thought you would react. He thought you would fight for a place in his life. But instead, you showed him what real strength looks like. You gave him space, and now that space is swallowing him whole. As Epictetus once said, silence is safer than speech. And sometimes silence speaks the truth louder than anything you could ever say. Because silence isn't weakness, it's power. It's the power of choosing yourself. It's the moment when you stop proving, stop explaining, and start becoming untouchable. Think of the ocean. When it rages, it's wild, noisy, crashing everywhere. But when it's calm, it's deeper, stronger, more dangerous. That's the woman he lost, the one who held storms in her chest and still chose peace on her face. He didn't know how rare that was, but now he knows, because silence doesn't fade. It lingers, it echoes, and it reminds him over and over again that he cannot go back to the place he walked away from. This isn't about hiding how you feel, it's about leading how you respond, and once a woman masters that, he never forgets her. You don't need to shout to be heard. Your silence said everything. He left. You didn't chase, and that's exactly why he'll regret it. Now listen, lovely woman, this is not your end. This is the very beginning of your rise. You have survived what was meant to break you, and now you are becoming more than he ever deserved, more than he will ever have again. You are not just healing, you are evolving. And soon he will look back and realize the silence he ignored is the one that follows him everywhere. Write this in the comments and claim it. My silence is my power. Queens, let this be the moment you take it back. Like this video and subscribe, because we are here working every day to bring you the truth, the lessons, and the power that will change your life. You were never meant to break. You were meant to reign. Number 2. She didn't scream, she didn't beg, she just walked away like nothing happened. Have you ever seen a woman walk away with tears still in her eyes, but not a single word from her lips? No begging, no screaming, just silence, like a storm that never needed thunder to make its presence known. That silence, that's what he remembers. That calm goodbye, that's what he regrets. Because nothing stings more than realizing she still had love in her heart, but she chose her peace over proving it. He didn't expect that. He expected chaos. He expected you to fight for him, cry for him, break for him. But instead, you stayed quiet. You picked up your heart, wiped your tears, and walked out like nothing happened. And that's when it hit him. He lost a woman who didn't just feel deeply, but who learned how to lead her emotions instead of letting them lead her. Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." And a woman who becomes the master of her emotions, she becomes unforgettable. She becomes the one who doesn't chase closure. She becomes the closure. That's why he can't stop thinking about you, not because of what you said, but because of what you didn't. Imagine a garden full of roses, beautiful, bright, soft, but also full of thorns. Most people step in without thinking, hurt themselves, and blame the rose. But a wise woman, she doesn't let others walk carelessly into her softness. She learns to protect her own petals. She becomes the rose that no longer blooms for just anyone, and the one who once took her for granted. He now watches from a distance, wishing he had been more careful. This is your moment now, not to go back, not to explain, but to grow. You don't need to scream to be heard. You don't need to beg to be chosen, because once you master your emotions, you become the woman he wishes he could still reach, but never will. Dear woman, you are not broken. You are not forgotten. You are becoming. And the woman who walks away with grace becomes the one no man can replace. That's the emotional strength he never saw coming. And now, it's too late. Queens, write this in the comments and claim it. My silence was the loudest goodbye. Let your power be known without saying a single word. We're working hard to bring you life-changing lessons because the world doesn't need another woman chasing love. It needs more women learning to reign. Number 3. He played games, thinking you'd always be one move behind, but queens don't play, queens reign. He thought he was smart. He thought he could stay one step ahead, pulling strings, giving just enough, keeping you guessing. He thought you would always be there, chasing, wondering, waiting. But what he didn't see coming was the shift. The day you stopped reacting. The day you stopped playing. The day you realized that being calm, being in control, being still, that was your power all along. That's the moment everything changed. Because he was busy playing games, but you were busy growing into something he never expected, something he cannot reach anymore. A woman who knows her worth doesn't play to win him. She plays to protect her peace. That emotional skill, the one he regrets losing now. It's your ability to stay centered when he tries to shake you, your ability to not flinch when he pulls away, your power to remain steady when he tries to test your limits. He thought your silence meant surrender. He didn't realize it was strategy. He didn't realize that peace is not weakness, it's mastery. And by the time he did, the game was over. And he lost. Imagine a chessboard. He moved first, trying to control the pace. He thought you were the pawn, but what he didn't know, you were the queen all along, quiet, watchful, and when the time came, you didn't fight. You left the board. That's what real power looks like. You didn't slam the door. You simply outgrew the room. He underestimated the calm in you. But that calm, that was the storm preparing to rise. And now, while he sits wondering why his tactics no longer work, you've stepped into your strength, graceful, grounded, untouchable. This is not just emotional control. This is the skill of self-respect. This is the quiet power of choosing your peace over his confusion. Beautiful woman, you are not broken. You are simply done playing. You are not small. You are just beginning to see how high you were meant to rise. You were not made to chase love. You were made to reign over your own life. Let him watch. Let him wonder. Because while he plays, you build. Write this in the comments and claim it. I don't play games. I reign in power. Say it loud, queens. Let the world know you're not the same woman he walked away from. We're working hard to bring you real lessons that heal, awaken, and remind you that your silence, your calm, your emotional power, that's the crown he should have protected. Number 4. He tried to provoke emotions, but you gave him control, and that scared him. Have you ever seen how quiet power shakes the loudest rooms? He wanted to see you fall apart. He needed to feel like he still had control over your emotions. So he pulled away. He ignored your calls. He pushed your buttons, hoping to see you explode, cry, beg. But you didn't. You stood still. You stayed calm. And that's what scared him the most. Because when a woman doesn't react the way he expects, he realizes she's not the same woman he used to know. She has changed. She has mastered herself. To rule your world, first rule your heart. That's the skill he never expected you to learn. He thought love would keep you weak. But what he didn't understand was that your emotions were never the problem. It was your belief that you had to show them to be seen. Now you know better. Now you don't react. You respond. You observe. You stay still in storms that used to drown you. That stillness, that strength, that's the emotional control he will regret losing. Imagine a candle in a hurricane. That's how you used to feel, trying to stay lit while everything tried to blow you out. But now, you are not a candle. You are the flame inside a lighthouse, untouchable, steady, leading others without ever chasing them. He came back to see if you'd flicker. Instead, he found fire he could no longer touch. And no, this isn't about being cold. This isn't about shutting down. It's about knowing when to hold your peace like a sword. He cannot provoke what you have already mastered. He cannot shake what you've already made steady. The moment he realized he could no longer control how you felt, that's when he knew. He lost the version of you he thought would always stay. This is the moment you stop being the woman who pleads and become the woman who leads. This is where your reign begins. You are no longer reacting to his chaos. You are building your calm empire. And from now on, lovely woman, you do not explain yourself. You do not chase what left. You do not flinch under pressure. You stand tall. Because queens are not moved by noise, they move with purpose. Write this in the comments and claim it. He lost control the moment I found peace. Queens, let the world know that you are done giving him power over your emotions. And if this message lit a fire inside your heart, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are working hard to bring you powerful, life-changing lessons because your rise matters and your story is just beginning. Number 5. She cried quietly once, but now her glow speaks louder than her pain ever did. He saw the tears, quiet, software hidden behind your smile. He thought you would always be that woman, the one who cried in silence, the one who broke in private, the one who stayed gentle even while she was falling apart. But what he didn't see coming was the woman those tears would create, because she cried quietly once. But now her glow speaks louder than her pain ever did. You loved deeply. You felt everything. You gave him your heart without asking for anything in return but honesty and love. And when he turned away, when he chose to forget what you were building, you didn't scream. You didn't chase. You didn't fight for space in a heart that made room for someone else. You just cried, alone, softly. And in that moment, something inside you began to shift. Rumi once said, "You were born with wings. Why prefer to crawl through life?" That's the truth he never knew about you. Those quiet tears weren't your weakness. They were your rebirth. You began to rise, not with noise, but with power. You chose calm instead of chaos. You chose dignity over desperation. And now, he looks for that woman he once knew, but he cannot find her, because she has become someone greater, someone radiant, someone he cannot reach. Think of the moon. It doesn't make a sound, but it controls the tides. It doesn't beg for attention, but the whole night sky follows its light. That's what happens when a woman masters emotional control. She doesn't stop feeling. She learns how to lead her feelings. And that shift, it turns heartbreak into transformation. He will remember you, not just for the way you loved him, but for the way you outgrew the pain he caused. He will compare your silence to every loud love that came after. He will see your glow in places he thought you left behind. And every time he remembers the woman who cried in the dark, but rose in the light, he will feel the sting of what he lost. Beautiful woman, your pain did not break you, it built you. And now it's your time, your moment, your reign. Write this in the comments and claim it. My glow is louder than my pain. Queens, let the world see the fire inside you that no heartbreak could silence. We're here, working with all our heart to bring you lessons that help you heal, rise, and rule. Because your tears were never the end, they were your beginning. Number 6. He mistook your silence for weakness until it echoed louder than any words ever could. Have you ever noticed how silence can be louder than a scream? How the quietest moment between two people can suddenly feel like a storm? He didn't. He thought your silence meant you had nothing left to say. He believed it was weakness, that you had given up, that you had no power left in you. But what he didn't know is that silence was not the sound of surrender. It was the beginning of your rise. And now, that silence is echoing in his life, louder than any words ever could. You gave him your heart, you gave him your time, your softness, your effort. And when he pulled away, when he gave his attention to someone else, when he thought he could come and go, he expected a reaction. He waited for the message, the tears, the last attempt to fix what he broke. But instead, he got silence, stillness, strength, and that's what shocked him the most. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." And you didn't fight. You didn't beg. You didn't lower yourself to match his carelessness. You became still, calm, unbothered. And that, beautiful woman, is power, because silence is not empty. It is full of meaning. It says, I no longer need to explain. I no longer need to fight. I am no longer yours to lose again. Think of a lighthouse. It doesn't scream when ships drift away. It just stands tall, shining through the dark. That is who you are becoming. A woman who does not chase, does not shout, does not lose herself trying to be heard. You shine. And he? He now sees the light, but he is too far away to ever reach it again. This is the moment you stop seeing yourself as broken. You are not silent because you're weak. You are silent because you are done. You are choosing peace over chaos, calm over confusion. And in that silence, your power becomes undeniable. Write this in the comments and claim it. My silence became the loudest truth he ever heard. Queens, let the world know you don't need noise to be powerful. We are here for you, working with love and purpose to create these life-changing lessons, because your power, your peace, and your worth deserve to be honored. Number 7. You didn't burn bridges. You simply turned off the light and let him find his way in the dark. Have you ever noticed how some people only realize what they lost once everything goes dark? Not loud, not messy, just quiet, empty, gone. He expected noise. He expected drama. He thought you'd burn every bridge and leave chaos behind. But you didn't. You didn't scream. You didn't beg. You didn't destroy anything. You simply turned off the light and let him find his own way in the dark. This is where real power lives, not in the storm, but in the stillness after. You didn't need to shout your worth. You didn't need to show your pain. You just chose peace. And that, more than anything, is what he never expected. A woman who knows how to walk away without looking back. That is the woman he will never forget. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best revenge is to be unlike the one who caused the pain." And you lived that truth. You didn't throw words at him. You didn't try to make him stay. You simply closed the door. And now he's standing in the silence, realizing it's the same silence that used to hold your voice, your laugh, your love. Think of a lighthouse. It doesn't chase ships. It doesn't scream for attention. It just stands, steady and bright. But if the light ever goes out, every ship in the sea feels the loss. That's you. He thought you'd always be there, glowing for him. But when you turned that light off, he felt it in his bones. And now, he's lost. Not because you tried to hurt him, but because you mastered the one emotional skill he never expected. Calm, powerful detachment. He ran from depth. He chased easy. But now he's searching for that same warmth in places that only feel cold. He'll remember your patience, your understanding, your grace, but he won't be able to reach you Because you didn't leave destruction behind, you left distance, and that distance will echo louder than any goodbye ever could. Lovely woman, hear this. You are not cold, you are not heartless, you are wise, you are strong, you are no longer giving energy to things that drain you, you are learning to reign. Write this in the comments and claim it. I turned off the light and he will never find it again. Let the world know, queens, that your silence is not weakness, it's power, it's growth. It's the final chapter in a book he never finished reading, and if this message spoke to your heart, if it reminded you of the fire still burning quietly inside you, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are working hard to create these life-changing lessons for you because, queens, your rise is not a wish, it is a promise.